So tell me about Sorcerer.
Sorcerer is a strategy card game melded with a tactical board game. It has a dark fantasy horror theme. In Sorcerer, each player is playing an evil sorcerer descended from a dark god, taking over the mortal world and battling each other for control of the mortal world.
Typical, yeah.
Yeah, as you do. And the battle takes place in Victorian London.
Oh, cool.
And at the beginning of the game, each player creates a sorcerer by picking one of the 4 character decks that come with the game, one of the 4 lineage decks that come in the game, and one of the 4 domain decks that come in the game. The character deck tells you who you are. The lineage deck tells you what type of magic you have, and the domain deck tells you where you've been training and what and gathering minions. So, for example, if I grab the Tegu deck, and the Necromancer deck, and the of the Outcast Sanctuary deck, I would be Tegu, the Necromancer of the Outcast Sanctuary. And if you if someone tells you while I was playing and I was Tegu, the Necromancer of the Outcast Sanctuary, if you've been playing for a while and know the cards in the game, you'll know what's in their deck, because each of these comes with a pile of cards that you shuffle together, and that creates your deck. And those cover cards, those will go out in front of you, and they give you special abilities you can use during the course of the game.
So that sounds like there's already like a tremendous amount of variety in the beginning.
Yeah, right out of the box, it's the base game box. You've got 64 different deck possibilities that you could have, and of course, your opponent has various possibilities as well. So it creates a lot of replay. And then, of course, we have expansion packs where you can get extra character decks, lineage decks, and domain decks that will add further to the possibilities. There are 3 types of cards in Sorcerer. There are minions. These are guys who come and play and fight for you. There are 3 different battlefields in Sorcerer, each representing a different part of London.
Okay.
And when you play a minion, you choose which battlefield to play your guy in. They will fight in that location, and their powers will work in that location only. You'll be able to move guys around during the course of the game, and when your guys fight, you're rolling dice.
I see big, chunky custom dice.
Yeah, so there's the cool custom dice that come with the game, and those dice have a skull on one side, blank on another, and you can also have a double skull result or a star for a critical hit. If something has an attack of 4, when it attacks, you roll 4 dice, and you count up the damage. If it's got critical hits, the attacking player assigns those first, and the defender can and then the regular damage the defender assigns.
Gotcha.
Damage can go on minions that you have in the battlefield, or it can go onto the battlefield itself. If you can do 12 points of damage to a battlefield, you win that battlefield. You flip the card over. Let's do this for a second, guys. So on the back of the battlefield, there's the ruined side of the city, and you put a control marker on your side of that,
and you won
and you won that battlefield. If you win 2 out of the 3 battlefields in the game, you win the game. The rounds are there's always a back and forth play in Sorcerer, so you're always about to do something. So it has a very active feel, a very cool feel. The turn's broken up into an action phase and a battle phase. During the action phase, each player starts with 6 actions. I'll take an action, and with an action you can gain energy, which you'll use to play cards. You can draw cards from your deck. You can play a spell paying its cost in energy, or you can move guys around on the battlefield. So I'll do one thing, and then my opponent will do one thing. I'll do a thing, my opponent does a thing, back and forth until we both use up all our actions. Then you go on to the battle phase, and in each battlefield, you take turns attacking with your minions, back and forth, and then resolving all the battlefields. So you are always next up. You're always about to be doing something and thinking about that next play. So the game has a great flow and really neat tactics, beautiful artwork. It's phenomenal. It does have a dark theme, so it's not great for the little kids, but basically for the grown-ups, it's awesome.
It feels like this is sort of a a game that has grown out of the other games that White Wizard has put together?
So it has some similar elements of lots of gameplay and replayability, deck of cards, etc. But this game was designed separately and looking to combine some of the best elements of multiple styles of games. But like all the White Wizard games, it's got phenomenal art, great replay. So yeah, you'll definitely see some similarities, but it is very different from Star Realms or Epic or any of our other.
Some shared DNA, but it's its own thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So I'm a huge Star Realms fan. I'm a huge Star Realms fan. This is huge.
Yeah. So like Star Realms, one of the great things about a little box, you can carry it around in your pocket,
Absolutely.
break it out, super portable. But we've made various expansions over time. A lot of people love Star Realms, want to get every single thing.
Yep.
Sometimes they like to have multiple different sets, like, oh, this is the set I play when I just want to travel around. This is my Colony Wars set. This
right.
is the one. So lots of different ways people like to play it. And storage of these cards has been an issue that people have talked to us about and wanting a better solution for. So this summer we ran a Kickstarter campaign for Star Realms Frontiers, and one of the things that people asked for the most frequently was a awesome storage box.
The big box, right?
So we designed a big box for everybody, and I have it here. This is the universal storage box for Star Realms, and it's got some sweet art on all sides. And this thing is big enough to hold all your Star Realms cards, and plus a playmat, sleeves,
awesome.
and keep things stored. So when you open it up, you can see we got the dividers in here. Now this box has traveled with me on airplanes, in my luggage, back of my car, back and forth. And so it's super sturdy, got nice, really thick walls.
Oh yeah, wow.
And great dividers. These are
Very nice.
hard plastic. And there's dividers for each set. And there's also dividers for types of cards, and we also threw in some blank dividers so you can do your own customization. Comes with 6 of these large foam blocks, so if you don't have too many cards, you can just put in some and store them that way. And these rows are long enough that playmat can fit inside.
That's great.
If you happen to own a playmat,
or two.
And if you, we have some prototypes here of some of the oversized cards from Star Realms. We have over in the side, but you can fit the longer boxes in Star Realms boxes in here as well. So
that's
you
just
can
great.
store your entire Star Realms collection. It also has the box itself comes with a 15-card card and a token set for Star Realms. So there's 8 ships, 2 copies of a ship from each faction, and the blob ship actually makes tokens when you play it. So it's called the Brooder. When you play the Brooder, you put a pod token into play, and the pod tokens, we have a little stack of 7 pod tokens, and you shuffle those up, and you put a pod token into play. It's a 2 defense factionless base, and that base has an ally ability. If it started in play on your during your turn, and you play a blob card, you can hatch the token, you flip it over, and it becomes a blob ship. And there's different ones, so it could become a worker or a warrior or...
As if the blob weren't messed up enough. Great.
Yeah. So super cool little
That's
set
awesome.
that comes with it. And it's a phenomenal way to store your entire Star Realms collection. I have in here every set we've ever made for Star Realms, plus a couple extra copies of sets. So
and clearly room to go.
And room to go. And as you know, if you wanted to store some extra stuff in there, you can take out some of the foam blocks and have even more room.
Right.
So
I mean, this is, like I said at the beginning, I'm a huge Star Realms fan, so this is a must-own as far as I'm concerned. And you must own Star Realms because it's a really good game.
Yeah. So this will be out in stores this summer. So
cool.
It's a universal storage box. It's sweet if you have a giant Star Realms collection.
Awesome. So, Hero Realms, sort of an evolution of the Star Realms concept, taken to a very different direction.
Sure. So yeah, here we've been having a lot of people for ever since Star Realms came out, asking for a fantasy version of the game. But we didn't just want to do a reskin.
Right.
So we took the great Star Realms engine and then we took it in a new direction with Hero Realms. So the Hero Realms base game, if you play Star Realms, this will be very familiar to you. You'll be able to pick it up quickly. However, the factions do slightly different things. The pacing is different, and the ratio of the card types is different in there. And your starting decks are a little bit different. So while you'll be able to learn it in a minute, it will have a different feel to it.
It's a
lot
different
of fun.
experience.
And it's a complete 4-player deck building game with awesome artwork in a box you can carry around in your backpack easily for $20. So it's an awesome deal.
Very cool.
Now we added to that we've added characters. Now the character packs are custom starting decks for Hero Realms. You can play as a specific character in the Hero Realms world. You can be a fighter or a thief, a cleric, a ranger, or a wizard. And each of these characters has a different starting health score. They have different special ability cards they can use during the game, and their starting deck is also different. So between all those things, each character has a very different feel, but we balance them for play against each other. So you can do a game with the ranger versus the wizard, or the fighter versus the thief, any combination you want to do, and have a cool game. And each of those characters plays differently, and the strategies you want to use in each matchup are different.
For sure.
So that is a ton of fun. We also made boss decks for Hero Realms. We've got the Dragon and the Lich. These are super cool. Yeah. You can play as a giant monster and take on a group of your friends playing the regular characters. And the Dragon and the Lich are both very powerful, but they play incredibly differently, and they are a ton of fun. You can also do a big monster fight and play the Dragon versus the Lich if you want to. So
that's
cool
awesome.
ways you can play with these guys. And then finally, the set that really brings Hero Realms into its own is the Ruin of Thandar campaign. This set transforms Hero Realms into a cooperative, leveling deck building game.
Awesome.
So basically, each player plays a character. You go on adventures together. You fight bad guys. You find treasures. You gain experience. You improve your character over time. You record those changes. Then the next time you play, you go on tougher missions, but your character is more powerful from the get-go. So you will advance and customize your character over time. Each character class has its own skill trees, so those special ability cards that start in play, you'll be able to upgrade them in various ways, and depending on which way you do your first upgrade, that will open up new possibilities for you down the road with further experience. So this is a ton of fun, so it starts out very similar to Star Realms with a base set, and then as you add expansions, it grows into a new and different, exciting way to play the Realms engine. So it's a ton of fun.
Awesome.